Miss, no te muevas.
I can't send videos.
Can everybody see me from where I'm standing?
Ay, Miss, qué chulo.
Check your cameras, those of you that are recording. When I get to lower limb, I'll lift my leg so you can see exactly what I'm doing.
Translation.
Okay, remember, if you stumble upon a muscle that has multiple actions, pick the one that you know that you know that you know, okay? So when I get to internal obliques, I don't want you stammering through it. If you know you only remember rotation to the same side, that's what you need to say, okay? And don't give me lateral flexion if you don't know what lateral flexion is, okay? When we were going through it yesterday, somebody's like, oh, it does lateral flexion. What is this?
That's rotation.
Lateral rotation, okay? So you be wrong. All right, starting with the muscles of the trunk. Are we ready? Okay, first, location, rectus abdominis, center of the abdomen. Okay, its action is responsible for trunk flexion. It only has one action as opposed to the other two, the obliques. Internal, which runs as though you're putting your hands in your front pocket. External runs as though you're putting your hands in your back pocket. Both internal and external obliques share two actions, which are flexion and lateral flexion to either side, okay? The difference is internal obliques is responsible for rotation to the same side. So if your hand is on your right internal oblique, I'm expecting you to turn to the right. If you're talking about external obliques and your right hand is on your external obliques, I'm expecting you to turn to the opposite side. Rectus abdominis, internal obliques, external obliques. We're good on the abdomen.
Repite, por favor.
Muscles of the upper limb. Bicep brachii, tricep brachioradialis. Bicep brachii, flexion, assists with supination. Tricep, extension. Okay? Brachioradialis also does flexion. Remember, we're talking about the elbow joint, not the shoulder joint. Okay? Bicep brachii, tricep brachioradialis. Pectoralis major, upper chest. Remember, muscles pull, they do not push. So in the frontal plane, if my arms are abducted, my pectoralis major will pull it back down. Adduction, it is adding it back to the body, okay? Also, if my arms are extended, pectoralis major pulls my arm back down. That is flexion, okay? Pectoralis major, upper chest, adduction, and flexion. Deltoids cover the external shoulder. Remember, you have anterior, posterior deltoids. That's why it can do a multitude of actions. It can do extension as well as flexion. It can abduct. Think about it. If it sits on the top, abduct, it pulls the arm up. It also can rotate the arm. Okay? Deltoids, pectoralis major. Diaphragm is here. We talked about it in the respiratory system, but that's a no play for the exam. Trapezius, the upper back and neck, here. Rhomboids, here. Latissimus dorsi, here. Upper back and neck, upper and mid back and lower back. Trapezius, if my neck or my head is in flexion, it is responsible, think about it, muscles pull. It is pulling my head back up via extension. It can also hyperextend the head, okay? Rhomboids, retract and adduct the scapula, okay? Also elevates and downwardly rotates. Latissimus dorsi, we call that the swimmer's muscle, responsible for extension, adduction, and medial rotation of the arm. Extension, adduction, medial rotation of the arm, okay? Trapezius, rhomboids, latissimus dorsi. Okay, gluteus maximus. You can keep your hand in the same area when showing gluteus medius because it lies directly underneath, okay? And then the anterior groin is the iliopsoas, okay? Gluteus maximus and medius, iliopsoas. Gluteus maximus is responsible for extension of the leg. So when that iliopsoas flexes the leg, The gluteus maximus extends it back to the anatomical position. Does that make sense? If this is flexion of my leg, gluteus maximus extends it back out. It is also responsible for lateral rotation of the leg. You get to the point where you have one of those and you can't remember what the difference is. Remember I told you, gluteus medius, associate medius with medial, okay? The gluteus medius is responsible for medial rotation, okay? As well as abduction of the leg. Maximus lateral, medius medial. Iliopsoas pulls the leg up, flexion of the leg at the hip. Okay, anterior growing iliopsoas, flexion of the leg at the hip. Anterior side of the thigh, quadriceps. Posterior side of the thigh, hamstrings. Sartorius is a long strap-like muscle that runs literally from the top to the knee across the thigh. Okay? Quadriceps. Now we're talking about the knee joint. Yes, we're still talking about the leg, but we're not talking about what happens at the hip joint. We're talking about the knee joint. So, extension of the leg at the knee joint is here. Flexion, hamstrings of the leg at the knee joint is here. That should be easy to differentiate. Again, muscles pull. If my hamstring is here and it's responsible for my leg, it's going to pull my leg up. My quadriceps extend my leg back out. Sartorius assists the gluteus maximus with the lateral rotation, okay? It assists the gluteus medius with the abduction, and it assists the iliopsoas with the flexion of the leg. Okay, that's an assister muscle. Lower limb, gastroc and soleus make up the calf muscle, okay? Gastroc is the prominent one. Soleus lies right underneath, just like we see with the gluteus maximus and medius, okay? So, plantar flexion, pointing the toe. Gastroc and soleus on the back side. Think of a string being connected and it's pulling. Tibialis anterior. Dorsiflexion, it's on the anterior side, right? So if it's pulling the toes, we know that's dorsiflexion. Gastroc and soleus, pointing the toes, plantar flexion. All right? Any questions? That is all of them.
¿Qué? ¿Me puedo responder?
That is all of them.